Unit 4. Conflict. Focus on content. Social Studies. Page 138. World War I. Background to the conflict.
At the beginning of the 20th century, there was a lot of tension among countries in Europe. One reason was the balance of power. That is, no one country wanted another country to have more power than it did. Britain, France, and Germany were competing with each other for overseas trade. Britain was worried because Germany had bigger, more modern factories. Germany was worried because France had a lot of power and wealth and colonies in Africa. Germany wanted more land and resources. Also, Russia and Austria-Hungary were trying to gain more power in the Balkan states in Southeast Europe. Because of this tension, the countries formed two powerful alliances: Britain, France, Russia; Germany, Austria-Hungary, Italy. By the middle of 1914, Europe was close to war.
The assassination.
In 1914, Austria-Hungary ruled Bosnia, a small state in the Balkans in Eastern Europe. Some people in Serbia, another state in the Balkans, wanted Bosnia to be part of Serbia because many Serbs lived in Bosnia. They wanted to be independent of Austria-Hungary. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the son of the Emperor of Austria-Hungary, visited Sarajevo, the capital of Bosnia. The Serbs in Bosnia were unhappy about the Archduke's visit. On June 28, 1914, a Bosnian student, supported by a group of Serbian terrorists, assassinated him. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia on July 28th. The war quickly spread as other countries defended their allies. By mid-August 1914, most of Europe was at war.
The war grows.
Within a year, many countries had joined in the war. This chart shows how the countries were divided. Allied nations, the Allies: Britain, France, Russia, Belgium, Portugal, Greece, Serbia, Montenegro, Romania, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, South Africa, soldiers from French and British colonies in Africa, Asia, the Pacific, and the Caribbean. Central powers, fighting against the Allies: Germany, Austria-Hungary, Bulgaria, Ottoman Empire, Turkey, etc. Italy changed sides and joined the Allies in 1915.
The First Modern War.
World War I is often called the First Modern War because soldiers used modern weapons for the first time. New inventions were created using the latest technology. Some new weapons used during World War I were machine guns. These guns, invented by an American, shot many bullets very quickly. Submarines. These underwater ships shot torpedoes, bombs that are fired underwater. Poison gas and gas masks. Poison gas caused choking, blindness, blisters, and sometimes death. Gas masks protected soldiers. Tanks. These heavy vehicles had big guns and metal belts over their wheels, so they were difficult to attack and destroy. Periscope rifles. Two mirrors were attached to a rifle so that when lifted over the top of the trenches, the soldier could see the enemy. Fighter airplanes. These small planes were armed with machine guns.
Life in the trenches.
Soldiers dug trenches for protection from the enemy. The trenches were muddy after it rained, so soldiers put pieces of wood, called duck boards, on the ground to try to stay dry. The trenches were very hot in the summer and freezing cold in the winter. Rats and lice spread diseases such as trench fever. Soldiers spent about a week in the trenches. Then they went to a rest area where they could wash and change clothes before returning to the trenches. Most of the fighting was at night, so soldiers often slept during the day. They wrote letters home or kept diaries. Many soldiers were homesick. They had a hard life in the trenches.
The United States enters the war.
From the beginning of the war, President Woodrow Wilson wanted the United States to stay neutral. People in the United States were divided about the war. Many U.S. citizens were from European countries, so there was support for both sides. In 1915, Germany announced it would attack all neutral ships headed to Britain. In 1917, Germany announced unrestricted submarine warfare. That meant Germany's submarines attacked all foreign cargo ships to try to cut supplies to Britain. When Germany sank some U.S. ships, President Wilson declared war on Germany and joined the Allies.
Germany surrenders.
By 1918, the Allies had stopped supplies from going to Germany, where people were starving because there was so little food. By October, the Allies defeated Bulgaria and Turkey. In November, Germany asked the Allies for an armistice. They signed an armistice on November 11, 1918. After more than 4 years, the war finally ended. Germany surrendered, and a peace treaty was signed on June 28, 1919.
After the war.
With the end of World War I, the map of Europe changed. Some countries, such as Germany, had to give up land. Other countries, such as Greece, gained land. Austria-Hungary and the Ottoman Empire were broken up into separate countries. More than 65 million soldiers fought in the war, of whom more than half were killed or injured. 8 million killed, 2 million dead of illness and diseases, 21 million wounded, and nearly 8 million taken prisoner or missing. More than 6 million civilians died too. People hoped it would be the war to end all wars, but it wasn't. World War II followed only 21 years later.